If you've watched Chinese Hearthstone over the years, these are two names you absolutely will be familiar with. OmegaZero, who went on a monster run 3 or 4 years ago, and YouLove, who has been around forever. And honestly, YouLove has impressed me greatly during this tournament. Always been a player I felt was good but steady. But in this tournament I feel he may have gone beyond the steady moniker, and I feel maybe I've been a little bit harsh on World Elite in general, as my portrayal of them as middle of the road. They've been pretty good, although 5 and 6 on both sides. Not really a surprise this tournament, everybody's roughly 50%. But it's a big deal, because 5 and 7 just starts edging you towards that bottom 2 where you do not want to be. Both players opening up with Demon Hunter, both banning Warrior. Both of those two things not particularly common for this tournament. We've seen a lot of Druid opens, but the chance to sweep with the Demon Hunter has been too much for either player to resist. So we're going to get a good old Demon Hunter mirror, and that's got to favour OmegaZero and LP with their slightly strange deck building. They do have the Blowtorch Saboteur, and for those who've played this mirror against the Blowtorch Saboteur will know that once it's played, you don't hero power again. The option really is to get it over with, spend 3 mana and have it available for the rest of the game. But quite often that option is not taken and you just do nothing. YouLove with the killer start, but nothing to do next turn as it stands. Which is a little better than OmegaZero, who has nothing to do this turn. Trying to work out if it's worth Chaos Striking. I don't see that it's not, but the problem he's going to have is that he has a lot of clutter on that 3 already. And so if he doesn't Chaos Strike now, even though what it draws into might not be useful, he might never do it. He also might draw into a Twin Strike, something that he can use. Or at least it removes a minion. Is the option here to hit into the Battle Fiend and slow everything down a turn by playing Umberwing next turn and hero powering to finish off the Battle Fiend? And actually that might be the way forward. Again, the problem is he would love to do all that on turn 5 so as not to waste mana, but as far as he's concerned, things are pretty urgent. As it happens, YouLove doesn't have a backup plan, so the coin is somewhat overruled here. But OmegaZero must be expecting more than YouLove has next turn. YouLove actually has nothing. But continue with the plan that he set out last turn. Remove this Battle Fiend and worry about the consequences of everything else later. Now he has the option to Overseer next turn and start generating a board. Also get that Saboteur down. Is a big, big deal. Twin Slice is so good, but he already has one. Doesn't stop him having another one. Clearing up the board. That's what you need to do as the Demon Hunter. See, he's got some pretty good turns coming up. Going forward here. And now it gets complicated. Well, it would normally, actually. This is quite easy. For me, Overseer, you want to I-beam the 2-3. You want to hit into the 1-1. So what would you like on the board at the end of the turn? And personally, for 3 mana, I would like an Overseer plus a 2-2. If he plays the Saboteur, I do understand. Is there any circumstances where you don't attack here? So that next turn, you get to use the Adept instead. I think you're always I-beaming the Vulpera, that's like a given. It's just which of these 3 drops you want. And yeah, the Blowtorch Saboteur's in here for this matchup. So I'm actually starting to lean towards just leaving up the Sidekick and playing the Saboteur here. And I think you don't attack because you have 2 minions that rely on being able to attack next turn. Yeah, this is better. Now that's established, that hero power is donezo for the game. Or at least, you would think. And it's actually giving YouLove considerable headache here. He wanted to just use his decent tempo start, looking at next turn as well, to just go face with Kane. Plus the 1-1, yeah. Start 22. But he probably has to trade into this. Never say never with Demon Hunter trades. It is right to go face more often than in any other deck, because you've got so much burst potential. Look at the burst YouLove actually has available to him. Maybe we will see him put this all to face. OmegaZero rewarded for protecting his weapon with a twin slice, which if he'd had would have made last turn very different, I feel. Oh, so many choices here again. The natural one is just to put 1 damage to face and glaive bound into the 3-2. But if you're met by twin slice glaive bound the other way, and YouLove's had some, like his turn 3 was nothing happened. So OmegaZero will have the read that there's at least 1 or 2 heavy cards, but those cards could be skull, they could be glaives, you know, it's not necessarily obvious. OmegaZero is still not sure what he wants to do here. Well, next turn you want to play 2 3s. So this turn you want to play a 5, I guess, is the straightforward way. He did choose to use one of the slices up. Whereas I would probably have done 2 less damage to face, but saved a slice because of the altruist. Either way, he is going to be met by the same in kind. And this is never much fun. Well, he can deal with it. How he chooses to seems pretty clear cut. You Chaos Strike, your hero power, you do play the Overseer now. You use the second part of the twin slice most likely. Second slice. You end up with a 4-2 and a 2-2 on the board. YouLove's just going to be able to pick those off. That being said, YouLove is almost out of stuff himself. Yep, proceed with the plan. Don't let the Spectral Sight put you off. And now the Warglaives will pick up these minions. Presumably. There is a chance to go for the glaive bound first. Shadow Weaver's a decent pickup. I think he'll hold and not put... Oh, he might put 3 face actually. I've just seen the point there, so he's going 3 face. Yeah, 13 is significantly different from 16 with his hand, I guess. Getting pretty close to lethal, in fact. But Shadow Weaver face is a strong looking option for the next turn. Shuts down most of the ways he can lose in 2 turns. See if OmegaZero can pick up something tasty here. Wants to be mana efficient, so Vulpera most likely. Vulpera also sets up Altruist for next turn, which he very well might need, the way that this has been going. Putting the 1 and the 2 to the left hand side. Quite like the idea of just mana burning his opponent down. Inner Demon, he thinks he can get it done. I mean, he is occupying board, so I understand the sentiment, but that's not going to work for 2 turns from here. Does he think he's got 2 turns in a world where he wins? Like he gets next turn, and then the turn after? Really? Alright. So YouLove's all about calculating here, and I think you start off quite likely actually with a Chaos Strike. Maybe you do a Spectral Sight, but do you need those 2 cards? I think it might be too slow. Looking to do precisely 13 damage, 16 if you can in case of I-beams, over the next 2 turns. The problem with the Spectral Strike is it's super slow. It's 2 mana. So he's counting what he's going to do this turn. It looks like he's going to Shadow Weaver and Chaos Strike from what he was holding on. But I like playing the Glavebound. If he plays Shadow Weaver, that's fine. I am biased by the fact I can see the Inner Demon in the opposing hand. So you want to freeze turn 9. Super biased by that. But I think this Spectral Sight is a bait. YouLove wasn't sure, but the rope's burning, so he had to do something. I think that's fair enough. If in doubt, just do something that isn't awful. Hopefully he got the attack in. Yeah, so he found a way to do something that wasn't awful. He sets up a lethal for next turn with Chaos Strike. Slice, Hero Power, Adept, and that's the job done. He's still thinking it through now, you can see that. It wasn't necessarily perfect. It was a very difficult choice. And needed to work out, the vision he needed would be to work out where he would be in 2 turns time, whether the Spectral Sight cards ever matter, as opposed to giving that card up and just Chaos Striking. And it wasn't an easy call. But what he did get right was do something. And he did something, and he set up this lethal. And he's going to be 1-0 ahead and taking down the opposing Demon Hunter. Big deal. It is a big deal. That sounded really sarcastic, but it's actually a big deal. Just go through the mechanics now, and again, tidy game. Leaves OmegaZero the Rogue or the Plot Twist Warlock to worry about. Be interesting to see what he chooses. Actually, I think he'll choose the Rogue. But both of these decks can deal with Demon Hunter. Look what Rogue he's playing. I believe he's playing the Stealth variant. But let me just double check on that. It's a big deal. I think the Stealth variant is nicer. Yeah, he is playing Stealth. Is nice against Demon Hunter. It's got bigger minions. It's got more card draw. It can go wider. And double backstab is pretty much where you want to be. The Miscreant and questing. Loads of nice options available. Now we saw YouLove last game coin 1 into 1 and then have nothing to do. It'd be interesting to see if he coins out the weapon this time. I think you do against Rogue. Just get the 2/1/1s on the board. This is funny because you can even coin out the Spectral Sight here, which I think would be wrong, but there you go. Because he has Chaos Strike, I think you want to get the Umberwing on the board. At least have something to do next turn. He is going to go for the Spectral Sight. He's just going to be mega value, super greedy. And YouLove... Oh, I'm sorry, OmegaZero has nothing to do. Interesting. Plenty to do next turn, though. There's so many things I want to see what happens next turn. I'm assuming in most worlds it's backstab Miscreant. trying to build up towards making a nice, secure questing in 2 or 3 turns from now. So YouLove's play. Well, I want to Umberwing and hold here. But he's trying to make as big a Battle Fiend as possible. Maybe because he has nothing to do on 3 anyway. But I feel that I would rather play this and a 2-drop on 3. I think that sometimes now, if his next draw isn't very good, and there's a lot of 3-drops in the deck, but if his next draw isn't very good, I feel that he could just get behind here. And that's actually really unfortunate. And this is a consequence of what he did last turn. He's been unlucky. If he picks up pretty much anything else here, I can accept it. Well, I say that. There's Gladebound Adept, there's Warglaives, there's quite a few whiffs there. And I realise he's trying to eke out the pretty grim resources he has. And this is with the Spectral Sight greediness, so he has been very unlucky to be punished by drawing cards by the fact he's drawn badly is unfair. You can be punished for drawing cards by not having enough mana or getting in a tangle, but to be punished for drawing cards by drawing badly is kind of just not fair, right? It's not fair to say he's drawn badly because he drew more cards, is what I'm saying. But he's in a tangle with his mana because he drew more cards is fair. Well, OmegaZero having to plan a million turns ahead here. He's just seen Umberwing on 3. And again, he can now be expecting to see... I mean, the standard expectation here is Warglaives and Adepts when you see this happen. As it happens, neither of those cards are in hand. So, reality and what's in OmegaZero's head may diverge a little bit here. As we get to see him play around, what we can see is actually going to be sort of ghosts. This is the hard part of Rogue for me. Knowing when to play cards for the numbers on the bottom of the card rather than the words in the middle of the card. And playing the Sage here without card draw is a good example of that. Setting up a whiteboard, which he's going to be able to use for removal, and then I imagine we will see the questing burst into life pretty soon. YouLove has drawn really, really badly here. You've got a Chaos Blade, and partly because it helps you kill a thing, but also just to find a card that does something. Okay, well that's a card that does something, and it does it well. So, killing off the 2 biggest minions, and I think here... Personally, I feel you're obliged to play the sidekick here as well. I don't think you can afford to be so greedy as to just keep it in your hand. Like, it's Hearthstone 101, which isn't necessarily correct very often, but, you know, beginner Hearthstone, your opponent has a 1-1, you've got a 1-2. Who has the better card? He's keeping it back. I wonder if he's hoping to try to maybe stick an Altruist, like play it next turn if he has to. Turn it into a 4-4. Obviously, he wouldn't get the point of damage from it, but maybe that's what he's going with this. Gladebound Adept. A welcome sight. Well, YouLove set this up last turn, so he's not going to mess around with it. Now he will buff up and hope it stays, which is fair enough. I'm laughing because I don't think any of YouLove's plans have gone anywhere near correct in this game. And again, that's not me picking on YouLove, that's just sometimes how Hearthstone be. Yeah. Of course he has the Kobold Lackey, he's able to do this. And gets a massive board. And YouLove has nothing to do. Okay. Desperately trying to get to the skulls. I wonder if this is a bit slow. Like, OmegaZero is still on 26. And next turn is going to go absolutely nutty. I guess I can see the second questing. So sure, the skull might get YouLove out of it. He knows he's in trouble. I think OmegaZero should just play all the cards. I guess you've got to decide whether you want to eviscerate face or not. That seems a little bit extreme, but it does put your questing to 5 health, which maybe you don't. You keep the eviscerate because the questing is always getting shot down by the hero power anyway. As it happens, we can see it does set up Glavebound if he doesn't use the eviscerate. So I imagine that's actually what he's thinking about. I'm sure he's thinking about this as well, but the big deal is, do you want your questing on 5 health when you know it can just be pinged off? And I guess the answer is you keep the eviscerate for removal and just redagger. Yep. And now he'll be hoping that this gets shot anyway. Which he probably will. YouLove going for the other route with the Glaive-bound Adept just seems really, really slow. So I think we shall see the skull. I was going to say on a prayer, but I guess with Altruist gone, OmegaZero's position is just super solid. YouLove developing the Adept. OmegaZero picking up Prep, so obviously Prep of this is a thing, but he's out of steam. And YouLove's slightly strange approach to this game, maybe he's just got him into an okay position. So both questings have gone. There is an Edwin left, but that's reasons to keep the Prep of this as opposed to not. How does he do in the race if he just ignores the 6-4? I mean, it doesn't sound ideal, right? But he could just put 5 damage into face. That's not good. I don't think that's good. Not without the Abyss. Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. It's all about playing to the top of your deck, as I say so often in these casts. And he thinks he gets there. Well, I'm not saying he thinks he gets there. He thinks this is his best opportunity. He does correctly seem to think that maybe the Adept has to trade anyway. That's the key here. What I don't quite understand is YouLove spent so much time and effort getting these skulls to the left of his hand to create an out. but has ended up not using them. I feel that even if he does get this done, it's looking like he might now. That something did go wrong in this game. Oh my, OmegaZero. Got to be careful. Obviously he's got to kill. There's no obviously's here. Yeah, so if he doesn't kill the Glavebound, he's dead to everything in Hearthstone. He's dead to the second Glavebound Adept, he's dead to the Warglaves. So he has to kill it, so prepping everything seems sensible. He gets a 6/6 Edwin. But then the question becomes, what do? You probably instinctively want to trade into the Overseer, which would make the most sense. See YouLove's face. There's the face of a man who's seen a lot of Hearthstone. Trading the Overseer makes the most sense, but this game might be over in 2 turns. And that 2 damage to the face could be very relevant, but it seems to not be a key number. Right, next turn, let's say he attacked with the Edwin in his face, that's 7. 2 to face now would put YouLove only to 8. And so no key number appears to be breached. And this should put YouLove in a great position here. He somehow navigated that awful start and turned it into what looks like a win. And he will be 2-0 up. OmegaZero just ran out of stuff though at the crucial time, and he did have to play the Greyheart Sage early on. I did credit him for that, but it has resulted in him having no cards later on, and he goes 2-0 up. Nothing at all to be done about this one. And YouLove didn't play it how I would have played it, and I usually retract very quickly when that happens, but I do feel that the start of that game was weird, but I do feel that maybe in the mid-game there, the way he set up the skulls but didn't use them was possibly pretty good. Oh my goodness, tell you what is pretty good, this opening hand for YouLove. A 1-drop and a sidekick. It's a little bit messy when you haven't got the coin, but it's the perfect hand against Warlock. Dark Skies hates to see this. On the verge of a pretty impressive sweep if he can get this done. OmegaZero does have the plot twist. It'll be interesting to see how aggressively he uses his removal. Not that he has any yet, but yeah, there's some. But he will get some. Because with a plot twist in hand, if you can plot twist as the Warlock, and it's a little bit aggravating to set up, you can just destroy a Demon Hunter, but YouLove so far has just drawn everything you could need. Battlefiend surviving that 1 turn is monstrously hard to deal with. There's the Dark Skies. So next turn, OmegaZero will have the opportunity to use 7 cards. YouLove, if he plays the Umberwing, will have, or the Ooze, will have 8 health on the board. So OmegaZero taps, and now he has access to 8 cards next turn, which is a massive difference. The Dark Skies will be able to wipe everything out, and for that reason we're not going to see the Swampoos. We are going to see the attack and the Umberwing. We'd see that anyway, most likely. Doing it in this order, even though it's 1 less damage, because let's imagine he draws an Overseer next turn. He gets a swing with the Overseer, and then he gets a swing again with the Adept, and not have to worry about having no way to activate the Adept on turn 5. So he's going to go to Dark Skies here for the 8. This is the eternal struggle in this matchup, and it looked like YouLove was going to escape. If he'd got this Shadow Weaver, the game was over. But, you know, you can't draw everything. Spectral Sight, nice card here. Fits very well into the game plan he's trying to do, which is just spend curve mana as well as efficiently as possible. And this isn't a trivial decision. I assume he'll Battle Fiend and then Hero Power attack. Just because there's nowhere else to fit it in, but it's not trivial because it does use up a weapon charge and he doesn't have another weapon right now. But it does make the most sense. But the lack of threat here... Huh. Yeah, it should allow tap plot twist being a thing here. I think that OmegaZero has the time to do this. He's actually going to do it better than that. Going to gain some health first. Love shouldn't fear the second Dark Skies. Fearing the second of anything isn't great, but there's lots of ways of dealing with a 6/4. So maybe we'll see him go wide with the Swamp Ooze and the Overseer and go face and put 4 minions on board. Then he's weak to Thanos Rain, but that's a 2-card combo. I do see this pressure. Hellfire saved OmegaZero in his earlier match in the week. Turns out that Moag Hellfire clears nearly anything. Must be nice though. Empty board, 9 cards, nicely set up. And Quest, pretty close to being complete. Can complete it at will with that second plot twist. And still on 22. Yeah, little exhale there from YouLove. These are the times where you start to realise this one isn't going your way necessarily. And this is a horrible matchup to lose as Demon Hunter. You always feel that you could have done more. Like, if only my opponent hadn't healed, if only he hadn't drawn that removal spell, if only, if only. And the Warlock gets so low on health every time. And just leaves you that lingering doubt of, did you do anything wrong? But usually the answer is you didn't do anything wrong. And I was going to get Netherwinged, which was another issue of going wide earlier. Into the turn 5. But it's going to happen anyway now. And it's almost always active. It's technically a 2-card combo, but any dragon isn't really, in this day and age of Hearthstone, a problem. Choices again available. Can just take down the Netherwing or can freeze it and go wide. Choosing to freeze it and go wide. I like this. We've seen some wide clears already. And the hope is that OmegaZero is running out of removal. Guess what? He's not. So can clear is the first thing you spot here with Double Rain and Nether Breath. Then you have to look for, is there a sensible way to do it that doesn't involve all that shenanigans? How wasteful actually is that? It looks pretty wasteful, so go look for another way of doing it. The only issue with doing this when it's only a minor one is your Celadan is uncastable. Should find better ways to remove things. And does. Finds the second Netherwing. And I'm hesitant to say this game is over, but this game is over. Moag into Nether Breath available should OmegaZero get low on health. And he's going to start getting 0 mana cards. And his 0 mana cards are going to be better than YouLove's 0 mana cards. Not only that, but YouLove's just going to take 10 from the minions on board. He's actually on the back foot. Now he's digging for something. I mean, he can get out of it to some degree. Chaos Blade might be okay here. If it takes out one of these. Yeah. Doing what he can. OmegaZero is such a strong spot though. I'm actually going to look what he's going to queue next. It's such a strong spot. YouLove has the Hunter and the Druid available. The arguments will rain on about both of these actually, but Hunter's a really good matchup for the Hunter, and I like the Druid against this Warlock deck as well, although there are people who will tell you Warlock's favoured in anything. But Druid just does its thing often enough and is powerful enough that I struggle to see the Warlock being favoured. And OmegaZero, by the way, is now just completely all over this one. Still trading. He has lethal set up anyway, so doesn't need to go face. Kane always a threat. Although it's not a threat to do 22 points of health, let's face it. I mean, you might as well Skull again, because nothing else is bailing you out. The look of somebody who's trying desperately to be invested in the decision. Well, clears up most of the board. Can clear all of the board if he wants to trade in the Kane, but I don't think you do. So lethal is there. One off. One off this turn. But super lethal next turn. 16 on the board will probably do 7 damage. And then there's 8 in hand. 10 in hand. Last offer. Gonna be 2 games to 1. OmegaZero trying to reverse sweep with this Warlock deck. An LP with Trunks and X-Hope I felt have played well in this tournament. I believe that there's a little bit of criticism in China of them for bringing slightly off-the-wall decks, and we have seen like a Blowtorch Saboteur today, for instance, but nothing completely crazy from where I've sat. I haven't made notes saying idiots or anything. In fact, I've felt that Trunks is playing the best he's ever played. X-Hope seems to be playing fine. Recently backed that up in the Masters Tour, the APAC Masters Tour. I just think that they're doing fine, but the scores don't seem to be backing it up. But I am impressed with YouLove in particular. For World Elite. Plus, if World Elite can finish exactly 8 and 8, it would back up my ongoing remarks that they're solid. And it's always nice to be right, even if it's for the wrong reasons. Again, feel that YouLove has played good Hearthstone this tournament. Alright, so Highlander Hunter with Curve. Question, do you coin out the Felmore? Answer, you're playing against a deck that hates health on the board, hates taking damage. I think you probably do. I guess the option to play the Felmore a little later and kind of sidestep Dark Skies is an option. So yeah, I get this. This is cool. So this board can get Dark Skies, which isn't cool. But delaying the Felmore, oh my goodness, is going to work out for him. Interesting to see if he uses the coin. Don't think you do, because Dark Sky still dies. Yeah, this is kind of tricksy. You got a little bit lucky with the way it panned out, but he's guaranteed to have the Felmar after this first board is gone. If the first board isn't gone, then you win the game anyway as the Hunter. That's fine, right? That's not an issue. In the world where it is cleared, he's guaranteed to have a 5-4 on the board, which, although not the best shape because of the proliferation of 4 damage spells, is still good. So it's constant pressure, which is what the Warlock hates. And looks like he's saving the coin for Dino Tamer Bran. Or more importantly, the King Crush he brings with him. And backed up with a Felmar that will likely hit face, because the Warlock tends not to leave minions chilling on the board. We may see OmegaZero throw one out there next turn, just to try and absorb the hit. So he may keep the Thalnos back, for instance, for that. And plays it out there now. And it's a lot of damage being assembled here. Big decision if you want to coin this Prime or not. He may have the read there's no Dark Skies. He may also have the read that there is. If Felmar comes into play, there'll be 9 on board. If he plays the Apex Predator now, trade something into Thalnos, probably the Apex Predator because of the rush and because you don't want anything to have 4 health. Would all still die. How irritating. So is he just going to chill? Some mind games going on here. Yeah, he's going to chill. Dark Skies this. I don't care. And if you want to play Netherwing, which I assume OmegaZero does, go to 11 and good luck to you. Because half the time you're going very low. But what else can he do? Dark Skies guarantees he takes 5 to the face. So what is his longer term plan? His longer term plan is to get the healing from this Nether Breath and get the Abyssal Summoner down. Alex's own face to 15. That's a long old path to tread. Oh no, with Deadly Shot in hand. OmegaZero, I think knows this one's probably done. Deadly Shot and just hero power? And then next turn's Coin Bran. And in a lot of worlds, that's enough to end the game. We do see Moarg Nether Breath in hand for OmegaZero, so he can heal for 8. Yeah, and YouLove, this is what I've enjoyed. I've called that to play instantly because even that play was obvious. I didn't even do my normal analyse the options, but he did analyse the options. And now OmegaZero has to gain some health. I feel like Moarg Nether Breath is the only play here. Let's have a look what else there could be done. He's not technically dead should he play the Abyssal Summoner. But he's dead to a lot of things. Corrosive Breath. Probably Kill Command. But 9/9s do get in the way of 8/8s. If he does the Moarg play, he also gets to play a Zephyrus down as a minion, which could help remove some of the bigger things that YouLove could play. I think OmegaZero's problem is he's worked out this is a brand, the way the coin has been held. And I think this is a quality play. I think he's worked out that Bran is in hand from the way things have gone. And so has chosen to go this way with it. And I think that's fine. Now YouLove has decisions to make. Firstly, that pops into head, Varanus just trades nicely. But getting their Mana Saber established to get in a Grand Slam is so tempting. But it also seems a bit cheesy. The advantage playing the Mana Saber play is you get to hero power. YouLove does like this clean kill with the Apex Predator. This makes sense as well. And still gets in the hero power. Okay. And also that, not that it will probably matter, but also stops the tap. And now because OmegaZero didn't Moarg, in some ways he's in a better position because of it. Now he has to Nether Breath his own minion, should he not want to die to King Crush. But he may well take the opinion he can't be that and hope his read is wrong. But I think he's got a very solid read here. He knows. He's worked, you know, why wouldn't a hunter that had a really low curve have played the coin in those early turns? And he knows it's for Bran. And so, Nether Breathing your own minion. Is he going to do it? I think he's reluctantly going to do it. Like, he's so sure of his read that he's going to have to stay alive this way. Well, he's on 2 anyway, so he has to do it to stay alive. But he doesn't want to do any of these things. He doesn't want to tap. Yeah, he's going with his read of this. Correctly so. YouLove, I think, should hit face here. He should know there's not another Nether Breath because OmegaZero didn't use it on his Moarg. So I think he should put the 8 into face and prevent the tap. So the choice is to kill the Moarg, and if your opponent draws Nether Breath with one of their 2 draws, they gain 4 health. But the other option is to hit them in the face for 8. And if they draw the Nether Breath with their 1 draw, they gain 8 and kill your King Crush. The other thing is here, this only costs 6 damage. Not the full 8, because it does get the hero power in and does set up lethal on board again. Draws the Nether Breath. Now he's trying to work out whether to tap for Moarg number 2. Again, working on the assumption he knows that there's a Bran. I think we've established that from the way he's played the last few turns and from the way the game was played. There's other health gain in there as well, of course. Maybe if he was to ever make progress. Like, how does he win this? He wins this by surviving to next turn and playing Alex. This has been a plan for some time now. It's just been a horrible, horrible looking plan. Is he going to have to Nether Breath his own minion, or is he just going to now go with the 1 in a million chance his read is wrong? Of course, he doesn't have to do the minion. There's no Moarg to double the damage, so who cares about that? Well, with the Grand Slam next turn, I wanted to get the Bran down for a couple of turns now, but with the Grand Slam available next turn, you'd think this would make sense. It would basically render Alex in Gnome Face useless. If there's a plot twist, I mean, what's the worst that can happen here? Whew, he scared me there for a minute. I thought he was trying to bail and start trading and do all sorts of nonsense. We've seen it happen before from lesser players than YouLove. But thankfully that was just a graphical thing. He's looking at coining hero power, but you want to coin the Grand Slam next turn, right? The thing that makes this difficult for me is he will know the exact circumstances he is expecting or hoping not to lose to here. And whilst my job is to find out what those are, there's so many and you have to pick one. You know, is he worried about a plot twist into a lot of health gain? That's what I would be worried about. You know, coupled with removal. Is he worried about dying? He's on 18. No, because there's no 0 mana spells available yet. OmegaZero now know that by the same logic that brought you my opponent has Bran, I think he can now work out there's in the Grand Slam as well, because there was no coin hero power there. And Dragon Queen Alex hasn't been nerfed at this point, so the dragons are 0 mana that come from that. Right, I think this is lethal. 2 of them guaranteed to hit at 4/6. The other 2 will hit face. And 2 damage from Bran seals it up for YouLove. He gets it done 3-1. And World Elite on 50% with just 3 weeks remaining.